What's your favorite Chuck Norris movie?
Well, it's funny you say that. I have some that they're not necessarily the best movie made because they're lower budgets, but I just love watching them over and over again. So when I heard he passed on Friday, then I decided I wasn't going to answer the phone for an hour and a half, and I watched Good Guys Wear Black. I think it's
Yeah.
because it was the first one I saw at the theater. It's not
Mm,
necessarily his best movie. The fight scenes are not very long, but there's a I don't know how you say it. It's just where I kind of gravitate towards because
yeah.
it's the first one I saw where he was the star.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
watched I watched again the battle with him and Bruce Lee, where Bruce
Mm,
Lee kills him in the Roman Coliseum.
yeah.
And so it's and there's two different reasons for it. So it's either Good Guys Wear Black, and I don't know if I have a favorite, or Force One is the movie he made right after that.
Yeah.
Again, the plot in that one's even worse than Good Guys Wear Black.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many middleweight kickboxing champions fight within a week time from one fight to the
Yeah.
next, and that way
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
But of course, and you've known this since I started training under you, I'm a huge Bill Wallace fan.
Mm,
Thanks to you, I got to be his demonstration partner 3 years ago. I love watching it, and it's not the best movie, not the best choreographed movie.
right.
Plot's really pretty silly, but I just love gravitating to it because I get to see
Yeah.
two of my heroes in the same
Right.
film. As his character's name is Jerry Sparks. That's how much I've seen it
Sparky.
over the years.
Sparky.
Sparky,
That's what
remember?
they
Yeah.
call it.
Hey, Sparky.
Yeah, they call him Sparky.
Sparky. Yeah.
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 And
I think my top three Chuck Norris movies, and not in order, but all three of them is really close, is A Force of One, The Octagon, and Lone Wolf McQuade.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you see on my background, I put the Octagon one up here.
Yeah.
Where he's kicking for Black Belt Magazine. The Octagon is probably got his best fight scenes to me to this very day.
Yeah.
When he's towards the end when he breaks into the compound, I mean he's got some terrific fight scenes against multiple people leading up to the final
Yeah.
fight. And he fights, of course, Richard Norton in there. But the fight scenes where he's fighting multiple ninjas coming at him are
Yeah.
just terrific. I mean, I think
Yeah.
there's some his best, and I have that one on streaming on my Amazon Prime account because I just love.
Mm.
I don't watch the whole movie anymore. I just go to that last 25
Yeah.
minutes and I just watch
Yeah.
them go through it because I think it's just terrific. And
His
technical.
brother Aaron done a lot of the stunts for Chuck.
Yeah, like a lot of people know,
I
and
mean,
Good
his,
Guys Wear Black, he's the one who goes
yeah.
through the windshield. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing you brought that up about family. Chuck always found a way to get his family into the movie
Yeah.
business with him, either behind the
Yeah.
camera or on the camera. He was real
Yeah.
loyal, and he's real loyal to many martial arts. Like a lot of people don't know this. And you probably do, I'm sure, but just for the audience, Pat Johnson, who unfortunately passed a couple
Mhm.
years back, the
Yeah.
guy who is the referee and did the Karate Kid choreography, he was a student of Chuck Norris. And Chuck
Mm.
Norris got him. He didn't care about just him going forward. He tried to bring a lot of people with him going
Yeah.
forward, is what it appears to me. Uh,
This every time I think of Lone Wolf McQuade, I think the scene that gets me more than any of it is when they bury Chuck Norris in his Dodge Ram in the hole, and he
yeah,
wakes up, I mean he's completely buried, and starts it, and that truck cranks right up, he wiggles it back and forth like that.
yeah,
All of a sudden, he comes jumping right up in it. That's the very first thing I think of every time
yeah.
I
Well, he has that
think.
half. He takes a chug of beer, if I
Yeah,
remember. Yeah,
yeah.
it's really funny, and I may have this wrong. I've seen the movie, but I may have the particulars wrong because I only watched it once. Have you seen Chuck Norris? I think it's called Chuck Norris Defeats Communism or something like that.
I
Let me
don't think so.
uh, let me look that up real quick. I'm sorry, audience, but make sure I get the title right.
Another good one that I thought was halfway decent. Uh, I mean, Chuck Norris is no. I mean, he's not a great movie star, but he had some pretty decent movies out there. Even his Invasion USA,
Yeah, I remember
that
that
was
one.
a halfway decent
Yeah.
movie.
Well,
Both his missing in action movies
yeah.
were halfway decent. His Delta Force movies, I mean, they were halfway decent. The only ones that I really did not like, um, what was the movies where he was fighting like this monster or something?
Oh, Silent Rage.
Silent Rage. I
Yeah,
hated
yeah,
those.
yeah.
I could not stand those.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
going to the theater to see all those with Brad Berkman. Matter of fact, Lone Wolf
yeah.
McQuaid. I
But
saw that with Brad Berkman. It's funny you say, yeah,
pretty much any of them except the Silent Rage movies. I mean, I could get along with. I just those Silent Rage movies just didn't do anything for me.
yeah,
I'm like, man.
yeah.
As a matter of fact, I can't remember whether it was the first one or another one where the only fight scene is when he is right at the end where he kicks this guy in the chest and he falls backward into a well or
Yeah,
something.
Silent Rage.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah. And
yeah,
I like the fight scene, but the movie's like 2 hours, and you get two fight scenes or something. You know, it's like,
yeah,
and I'm
yeah. It
sorry,
wasn't like your
Chuck. I'm
typical
going.
Chuck Norris movie.
Yeah, I can understand why he wanted to stretch and do something different, but I'm also like, I'm paying to hope you fight. You know, but yeah,
Yeah.
Chuck Norris defeats communism. I just looked it up. I have the title right. It came out in 2015, and what it's about is the fall of communism in Romania, I believe, and how what helped lead. It wasn't the only reason, but what helped lead to the fall of Romania was the Romanians would get these pirated Chuck Norris movies, and they'd watch it. And the reason why that stuck out, what you said, is one of the guys in that movie. I can't remember who it was because it's a lot of them are talking and with subtitles,
Yeah.
but he says he knew everything would be okay. They used to watch these American movies and these Chuck Norris movies, and Chuck Norris drives out of the dirt and Lone Wolf McQuaid, and he says, I just knew everything would be okay in life. That's
Yeah.
the impact he had on people, and they
Right.
had to do these pirate movies. They would hide, and you know, the one person with the VCR in the communist area, and they put it in, and all the dubbing was done by a lady for all the voices, you know, because they dub it,
Mm.
had this whole network for people could watch Chuck Norris movies. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You think about it. And that's why I says the Chuck Norris defeats communism, because his movies, as well as from other people they talk about, but he was a big influence on people in the Soviet bloc, where
Mm.
it was illegal to watch his movies, and so it's just kind of neat. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Silent Rage and some of those movies. There's some I've only watched one time, and then there's others I can go back to. Like Lone Wolf
Yeah.
McQuaid, I can go back to. It's not one
Yeah.
I can watch that one over and over again. Especially, I love it where he beats up David Carradine, and I don't
Yeah.
know, and I like David Carradine. I just love it, But it's just funny the impact he had, way beyond what we think of. I mean, Soviet Union bloc countries are pirating, putting their jail time just to watch a Chuck Norris movie. They're risking jail. I mean, it's amazing life,
Yeah.
with them. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of
Yeah. Bill was harassing me one day. It's been a few months back. It's not even been a year yet. And he was messing with me. You know how he always does. He's
yeah.
always grabbing you and pinching you and all kinds of stuff. He was messing with me one day, and I said, "All right, Sparky," I said, "Keep it up. I'm gonna get." He didn't know what I was talking about right at first, but then you could see the facial expression change, and he realized what I was talking about. He's like, "Well, you're no Chuck Norris," and I was like, "Nope, but
Yeah.
I will get you back."
Yeah. Well, and Bill has mentioned that he and Chuck Norris sparred, because I joke with Bill all the time. Says every time I watch Force One, I'm hoping something happens and you win at the end. I make that joke, and but he has said, and I know there's interviews on the internet, but he has told us this before, that they did spar one time, but they wouldn't tell who won or how
Yeah.
it went. It was something private
Yeah.
between them. At the time, Bill was the middleweight champion. Of course, Norris was retired by then, but it was before they started filming A Force of One that they actually sparred and kind of went at it, but had a good time, but they swore beforehand, because something like that could really hurt reputations, even though, and this. I mean, there's people I can beat 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
But they're going to get me once in a while, and that one time could get out, and everybody like, oh man, he's no good. He lost to so and so. So I mean, they had to keep it quiet, and otherwise it could bolster one's career and hurt the other.
I
Because
didn't know this till the other day, but Chuck Norris had a fight with Joe Louis. And beat him.
yeah, they fought 3 times for the title, grand championship titles, because
Yeah.
Chuck was a middleweight, Joe was a heavyweight, and I used to make
Yeah.
a joke in the Air Force. So, when I was at when I was in Hawaii, I taught self-defense tactics to some MPs and a few other Marines who weren't just MPs at Kaneohe Marine Corps Base 3-4 times. I think it was 3 times. And I used to make a joke every one of them. I said, "You're all laughing. You got this Air Force security, police, law enforcement specialist here teaching you martial arts, self-defense tactics." And it was a good 6-hour course. But I said, just remember, Chuck Norris, who's a middleweight champion, and Joe Louis was the heavyweight champion in karate. And Chuck won 2 out of 3. I would make that joke to them. So
Yeah.
be careful thinking
Yeah.
you're Marines, you're going to get one on me, you know, and I'd make
Yeah.
that joke. Yeah, and so it says a lot about Chuck being a middleweight. I mean, I don't care what people say. When you're at the top of your game, size does matter.
Oh, yeah.
It does, you know. And Joe Louis is a heavier, and at that time, Joe Louis is very muscular too, and
Oh,
a
yeah.
powerful fighter with a sidekick that just did damage. It says a lot that Chuck won 2 of the 3 in the grand championships, where they would allow people from the lighter weight classes to fight
Hmm.
the heavyweight. I mean, that says a lot. And Joe Louis, of course, is one of the best in the world too. Matter of
Oh, yeah.
fact, I think Chuck called him. I may be wrong here. Called him one time in the mid late '70s. He considered Joe Louis to be the best karate fighter of all time, not himself.
Yeah.
That says a lot about him too. When you beat this guy 2 out of 3 times, but you consider him to be the best fighter of all time, not yourself. That says a lot. You know, it does. Yeah. Now this one you're really gonna laugh at. So because Chuck Norris's real name is Carlos,
Hmm.
as you know from the book, and I had met a guy. He was a master sergeant. He was a cop. This is in Hawaii, and he had found out I did martial arts, and I was opening up a dojo at the base. And he was telling me how he was a black belt and how he was at a tournament back in the. And you look at the age of the guy, you go like, why are you lying? We all got tall tales and big fish stories, but why this kind of a lie? But he was saying, this is 96, 97 time frame, that back in the late 70s, he was a black belt, I can't remember what style, and he was at a tournament. Of course, Chuck retired in 75, if I remember correctly. And he saw this person there, Charles Norris, was fighting. He didn't connect the two until he went up there and found out he was fighting Chuck Norris. Then he saw him and realized,
Carlos Ray Norris.
right, yes. And he goes, Charles Norris. And I go, oh, really? He says, yeah, that's his real name is Charles. And I was like, no, it's not. It's Carlos. I says, and I says, if you're going to tell the BS story, and I'm a staff at the time, or did I make tech yet? I don't remember. He's a master. I didn't care. If you're going to tell the BS story, at least get the name right so you can better
Yeah.
peddle it. You know,
Name, the date, get something right.
I said, you know, he retired in 75 and his real name is Carlos. But people know him as Chuck. His friends know him as Carlos. And he goes, do you know Chuck Norris? No, don't know him, but it's in his biography. And you know, and he goes, oh, okay. And by that time I had met Chuck, I think twice by that time, but
Yeah.
it was so funny to see this, you know, he's this master sergeant trying to act really cool, and he's a black belt coming to my school to see, you know, and if he could work out with us and train with us. And yeah, he fought Chuck Norris, but he didn't realize it till he got under the mat because it said Charles Norris, you know. And I'm like, this guy's a master sergeant and he's a cop. Oh no, you know.
Well, you know, Aaron, supposedly, I've never actually. Well, maybe I did see a video somewhere of one of Aaron's fights, but I mean, he wasn't near the fighter that Chuck was, but he fought also.
Oh, did he? Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew he knew martial arts because of his brother, and he's
Yeah.
in A Force of One in the movie, but I didn't know he also fought. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's a sad week that he passed, but he lived a great life at 86. He touched so many people's lives like he touched ours. And he was truly not just a great martial artist, but even more important, a great man, you know, just a really great man. And some of those memes are they're funny. You know, they get me laughing. So it's great.
Now, according to Google, Chuck was the oldest.
Okay.
Chuck Norris's brothers are Aaron Norris and the late Wyland Clyde Norris. Chuck Norris is the oldest of the 3 brothers born in 1940, followed by Wyland and then Aaron.
Okay, so Aaron's the youngest?
So
Okay.
Aaron was the youngest. Chuck was the oldest, Aaron's youngest, so it was their middle brother that was killed in Vietnam.
Yeah. Okay.
He's KIA in Vietnam.
Wow. Yeah.
And it says here that Chuck Norris dedicated several of his movies to his brother Wyland.
Okay.
So I'll bet you that's probably like the Missing in Action movies, the Delta Force movies.
Yeah, the ones that have a military theme. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you're right. I will say this as we close. His best acting movie is Code of Silence, in my opinion. There's not much martial arts in it, but he's a good actor in that movie, I thought he did a good job acting. And it was the one that the critics liked. You know, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But As far as
Yeah,
martial arts
when
go,
I
you're like,
think of, when I think of Chuck Norris, an actor, a martial artist, I'm like, you know what? Great martial artist, okay actor.
yeah,
He
yes, yeah.
wasn't he
No,
wasn't the greatest. That's how I feel about Steven Seagal too. I think Steven Seagal is very, very knowledgeable martial artist. I
yeah,
just do.
yeah,
Some people disagree with me. I don't care.
yeah.
That's my opinion about him. I think that he is very smart. I don't think he's nowhere near as good as he used to be because he's gained so much weight and and
Oh
all this.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but he's subpar when it comes to acting.
Right, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
good martial artist, not so much acting.
Yeah. Instead of Chuck Norris, but you know the thing about Chuck Norris, and I don't know this to be true. I bet he would agree. He would say, I
Oh, I'm
improved."
sure he would.
Yeah, he improved, and he improved, but
Yeah.
he's got a way of doing it.
And
And
actually, his best acting jobs is what probably Walker, Texas
yeah,
Ranger.
by Walker, he had a really steady persona too that came
Yeah,
across. Yeah,
I think that played for what, like 8 seasons or
I
something.
think you're right. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's funny you said because I didn't watch it the first couple seasons when it was on
yeah,
TV. I don't know why. I just I kept so busy, and I was happy for him, but I didn't watch it. And then I got when I went to Thule, Greenland is when I started watching because in Thule, during the wintertime, you didn't go outside.
you have to do something.
You just stayed in your room. Yeah, it's 55 below. I ain't going out there. I
Yeah,
mean, heck with that. Just watch some TV. So much for joining us for this special edition episode about Chuck Norris. It's so appreciated. Uh, can't wait to see you again, and we'll be here again next week filming. And we've already decided we'll have a subject about people who come into dojos expecting, I don't know, we'll find a good title, but weird
yeah,
results.
yeah. We'll get you something.
Yeah.
Hey, also spread the word out there, people. You tell someone, have the person you tell someone else, and spread the word about our podcast that
Yeah.
we're doing.
Yeah.
East meets West martial arts, no spaces, anything like that, and just spread the word and ask people to subscribe to it.
Right.
Doesn't
Yeah.
cost you anything. We're not making money off of it.
No, we're not
You know,
monetizing. No, not at all. And matter of fact, we did get a great compliment from Hanshi Dan Hecht. He saw it.
oh really?
Yeah, he
I
sent me.
still can't read the comments.
Yeah, he sent me a text, and
Oh,
he thought, which makes me feel good because I think we're still learning
yeah,
personally. But he thought it was awesome, and
yeah.
he sent me a text saying this was awesome what you and Soke did. I think
Mm,
that you guys are going to go far with it. I don't know if we're not necessarily trying to do that, but
yeah,
he said he was really, really impressed and loved it very much.
yeah.
And he
I
said,
could
"Thank you very
care less
much."
about making money off of it, but I would like for it to spread out there
Right.
and we get a lot of followers.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get a lot of
You
people
know,
watching and
yeah,
and if we get enough
and
people
getting some input.
input, right. I mean, that's part we can get some input of people who what they say because we'll
Mhm.
learn from that. And we
Right.
might be able to get some guests on here sometime in the
Yeah,
future. And that would be kind of neat too. So, but we
yeah,
need more people to watch and
yeah.
subscribe to make that
And
probably
also
happen.
go to kidokamerukarate.com. It's
Okay.
our website. I need to get your bio and get some pictures to Christy. She's going to upload,
Okay.
trying to get all the black belts that I've got
Okay.
in that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you need a good picture, I think I still have somewhere I have hair. Just joking.
we'll put a wig on you.
But no
We can fix
fishnet
that.
stockings. I don't have any pictures of that.
Yeah.
All right, brother. You take care. Say hi to
All
Sheehan
right.
and Mary Beth.
You too, buddy.
All right.
See you.
Bye bye.
Bye.